Hey everybody, John Craig here with Performance Plus Tennis. Welcome to today's video. We're going to take a look at the serve and the point play of up-and-coming star Sebastian Korda in the United States, who I believe will be a top 10 player within a couple of years. So we're going to take a look at Sebastian beginning with his serve, and then we're going to take a good look at his point play here. A couple key things to note about his serve is I just love the way he's leading with the left arm and lagging with the playing arm, which is just a classic start for a modern serve. You can also notice that he's stable on his back foot here. His weight is neutral. His weight is just stable, slightly on the back leg, so he can control his body while he's lifting the ball up into an accurate position to play his toss. And this is where so many players struggle at the rec level, where the weight is shifted forward, the body's moving. But during this tossing phase here, his body's staying nice and still, and that's critical. Okay. And then once the ball is released from his hand, we can see that his arm continues to rise and stretch up under the ball, and that just loads it and pulls him into a beautiful trophy position. You can see that the back foot comes into his pinpoint only when the ball gets to the top. As it's rising, once the ball gets to the top and begins to descend, he's loaded in. He's loaded into a beautiful trophy position here. And what I love about his trophy position is another area where rec players tend to go wrong, is we can see that his back foot is nestled in behind his left foot. And oftentimes we'll see at the rec level where the players will actually have the right foot slightly out to the outside. And what that does is ends up turning the hips, so you end up having a twist in your body between your hips and your shoulders. You get out of alignment. But we can see here that Sebastian has a beautiful alignment between his knees, his hips, his shoulders. Everything is lined up beautifully to make a nice unit attack on the ball. Looks so really very good. I also love the way he has his palm up underneath the ball. It looks so good. And you can see that he's really using his non-dominant hand here, his tossing hand, as a guideline for ball toss accuracy. You can see how he's using that as a guide. It looks beautiful. Something that's really very important. Another key thing here that we can talk about is ball toss height. And, he gets his ball toss up pretty high. We can see that here. That's pretty much the apex right about there. And now let's watch him at contact point. Pretty interesting, huh? Contact point is considerably lower. And really, measurably, you can see that the distance between the two lines is certainly greater than the length of the racket, which is 27 inches. So I think he's tossing the ball up quite high and getting the ball to drop about 40 to 42 inches into contact, which isn't that uncommon, actually, especially in the WTA Tour. Maybe this is a little high for most of the men on the ATP Tour, but certainly not unusual. And the reason for this is it gives Sebastian plenty of time to get into his loaded position, measure up on the ball, and then make a full range of motion, explode up, drive up into the ball, and get contact at a beautiful position here. And his contact point, even though he's hitting what I call a flat slice, where he's kind of cutting across the ball slightly on contact, you can see that contact point. You can see that the ball, and I'll get it there, is inside the shoulder. It's between the shoulder and the ear. And that's what enables him to really activate this long axis pronation. And long axis pronation is where the racket's attacking on edge. We can see that the strings are facing the left here as he's attacking the ball. It looks like he's going to cut the ball right in half. Comes up and he pronates onto it, and now the strings are facing off to the right. So he gets 180 degrees of pronation or long axis rotation from the shoulder, which really accelerates the racket head and creates the magical power that all these pros have on their serves. So we're really looking to get that action right there. And for many of us, we need to get the ball up so we can make this move, get to the top where only this action can occur. This long axis pronation cannot occur anywhere but at the top of your extension. Okay? So that's a couple key things on his serve that I think you can really work on to help you serve. Next up, we're going to watch the point play. So Sebastian lands on the left leg, comes down into a balance, and now watch him as he lands right here as the ball's coming off, and he sees the ball is going to his forehand. So he's pushing off of his left leg here. You can see he's pushing off. And that's critical that you understand that the leg that's opposite the ball is going to be the leg that's going to push you out. Now what also is interesting here is this ball is going to come into a middle distance. And you can see that he's moving, pushing off the left leg, but he's not going to run. Watch him do what I call a modified shuffle. His feet are turned to the side. He's going to shuffle out, land, load, and then explode up into the ball, and then land again. And I call this a dynamic or double open stance. Here's the first load, and there is the second. So it's once to load, and then twice to land. And actually, he plays this in what I would consider to be more of a semi-open stance, but then he lands in a fully open stance. And when he lands now, he knows he's going to have to push off to get back into his recovery position. So clearly his weight is on the outside leg again, the right leg. Okay? And he's going to push off and get himself back into control of the court in a reasonable time. So by the time the ball is played by his opponent, he's back towards the middle of the court. Okay? So let's go into the point now and take a look and see what happens here. And first of all, Sebastian plays this forehand down the line. Okay? So he feels that right here, not only can he believe wholeheartedly he can make the shot, but he also believes he can hurt his opponent. So let's see what happens. He hits the ball down the line. There the ball goes down the line. The opponent comes over, runs over, and hits a slice backhand. And he hits a slice backhand with an early redirect to get the ball to go cross court. And Sebastian sees it. He's got plenty of time. So watch Sebastian's footwork now. Let's go back to the footwork again. So he recovers, shuffles to position, lands as the ball's being played. His feet are in the air. Pushes off the right foot again as he sees the ball's going to the left. And now watch him shuffle, shuffle, land, step. So amazing how he didn't run to that ball. Okay, he actually used shuffle steps, because shuffle steps to a middle distance backhand create rhythm, and they help you measure the ball and get into a good position, good range, good timing. So much less complicated to shuffle here than run. Shuffle, shuffle, land, step, play. Okay? Now, next up, he hits the ball down the line again, which is just fascinating. So he goes 2 down the lines in a row. But clearly he thinks there's an opening there. He thinks that there's an opening in this area, so he goes for that shot to the forehand. So here we go. Goes down the line to the forehand, makes the shot, and here comes the opponent. Now the best shot the opponent can make, safest shot, is an early redirect back cross court, which he does. And by the time he does that, Sebastian's back into a pretty good position. Here he comes with his beautiful unit turn with the left hand on the racket as he's moving. And he's going to go right into another open stance, into a double open stance. So he plays once in the open here to land on the right foot, spring, and then lands again. Okay, and this time Sebastian goes back cross court. And that was a wise move, because he knew he was going to be pulled wide to the sideline. So if he's going to get pulled wide to the sideline, he can't hit a winner from that position. Best to go back cross court. So he does that beautifully. Now notice he's outside the sideline. Watch his first move. He makes a crossover step where his right foot gets past his left foot. So he makes a crossover step, and that helps him get into a rhythm, cover the range of motion he needs to get back into position as the ball's being played. And really, you know what? He didn't get back into position as well as he could have. He made one crossover, and he almost stalled right here. Okay? Should have seen that ball was going to go down the line, but he didn't. But he lands here, and he's ready to go. But guess what? The opponent sees the opening, and really Sebastian should have been in this area of the court. He's a little too far off, so the opponent goes for down the line. But he's this variation forehand, or a buggy whip forehand. You can see it where the racket actually goes up and over his head and kind of behind him. Look at that. He buggy whips it around. He gets way too much air under this ball. Look at this ball, way over the net. I mean, if you're going to go down the line from this position, you better get your ball to really travel low over the net, okay? Because you need to take time away from your opponent, and obviously you can't get the ball up too high and too hard because it may go long. And in fact, guess what? The ball does indeed carry long, okay? So was it the wrong shot to go down the line? Maybe not the wrong shot, but certainly the wrong execution, because he was not able to keep the ball in the court, of course, but he wasn't able to take time away from his opponent, so he got way too much loft on that. I don't think that this shot from the forehand on the other side, that this was the time for a variation or a buggy whip finish. I think this was the time for a flatter driving ball that would have gotten through the court much quicker and taken Sebastian's time away. Okay? So what are the takeaways from this video? Well, there's a couple key things on the serve. Really working on the balance at the point of release, making sure you're leading with a non-dominant arm, getting the ball up nice and high and getting into a good strong balance, a good load, and so that you can really drive up into the ball and get your long axis pronation at the peak of your reach, nice comfortable reach, and get that shoulder action to rotate the racket through, generate your power. And then make sure your feet are in the air when the ball is being played so you can react quickly. And then make sure that whether you use an open stance, double open stance, doesn't matter whether you run to the ball, make sure you're prepared to receive the ball when it enters into the bounce. Look how he's ready to receive it as it comes into the bounce. Here it comes. It's entering into the bounce right here. He is ready, measuring to spring into the ball, time it, and drive it. And then he immediately goes into a recovery position, uses balanced, rhythmic shuffle steps to get over the next backhand, goes down the line, and right here he decides, I'm going to go early redirect, take the risk out, go back cross court because I'm wide of the line, inserts a crossover step, tempts his opponent to go down the line, and he tries the lower percentage shot and misses it. So thanks for watching today's video. I hope that this was very helpful to you. Please leave your comments down below, give us a like, and subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. Thanks so much for watching today's video. We've got lots more coming here at Performance Plus Tennis, so stay tuned, and we'll see you soon.